Welcome to this brief video on integration between Tekla Structural Designer and Revit. In this video, we'll demonstrate the process of sending a model from Tekla Structural Designer to Revit and back while managing changes and updating information. You can begin the process in either program. For this example, the model was started in Tekla Structural Designer. The model has been designed for gravity loads, columns and beams have been sized. Notice the sizes and shear studs for the composite beams. Tekla Structural Designer models the physical shape of the members. This allows us to more accurately communicate to BIM programs. The physical member can be offset for better representation. The joists on the roof are sitting on the steel girders. Now we're ready to perform the Autodesk Revit export. The integration filter screen allows you to exclude items by category from the integration. As the project progresses, it may be beneficial to keep certain items separate in each program, and this is usually helpful for slabs and walls. Here too, you can choose to export analysis results to show beam and reactions in Revit. An integration file will be created. The BIM status view shows all members were exported successfully. Now we can open up Revit. The Integrator for Structural Designer is an add-on to Revit that can be downloaded from our website. This is a free link and does not require Tekla Structural Designer to be installed on that computer. Designating a first time or update model import export will maintain member designations to make it easy to manage changes upon model merges. Import the appropriate CXL or integration file. Here too you'll have the choice to include or exclude members by categories. The mapping screen controls the communication on the section sizes between the two programs. It allows you to map the Tekla Structural Designer sections to your unique Revit families. The mapped sections will be saved in a custom mapping file. These can be placed on your server and shared within the office. That way, only one person needs to set up the mapping files. Sections will be automatically flagged that are unrecognized. You can review and modify these as needed. During the integration, this dialog box will provide a progress log. Once done, the results will display information on members created, modified, deleted, and any warnings or errors listed below. The integration completed and we can review the framing and sizes. Import any framing plans that were created in Tekla Structural Designer. And then in the 2D plans, we can add beam annotations to bring in the sizes and shear stud counts. There's information in the advisory notes on how to add these framing tags to show the beam end reactions. Now if we look at a particular beam, you can see in the properties that the shear studs have come in, as well as the end reactions which we're now showing on the plan. Back in the 3D view, we can see that the joists are properly sitting on the girders. The offset position is communicated across the link. The analytical wires are critical for successful integration. Connected analytical wires are required for the analysis model to run. Just like offsetting the joists in Tekla Structural Designer, here too in Revit we can manipulate the geometry while maintaining the analytical connection. For example, we can adjust this column to show it framing to the underside of the beam while maintaining the analytical connectivity to the beams above. Make sure to review the advisory notes for more information on managing the analytical wires and some tips and tricks on sloping members but maintaining a flat analytical wire. Now we can make changes to the floor plan. We can add new members, modify existing members, either changing their lengths or changing their section sizes, and we can delete any members as needed. At this point, we can also start to add detail to the slabs, such as creating openings. We can now send this back to Tekla Structural Designer as a model export to update the existing. You may want to cut the integration of slabs at some point where there's more detail in the Revit model than required for the analysis and design model. So we can select to exclude it here. Now I'm going to save this as a pass-to file. Now back in Tekla Structural Designer, we can import that past to Revit file. The slabs are recognized as not being imported, and here we can decide to keep any members that were deleted in Revit. That way the engineer can clearly find what was deleted and make the decision on how to proceed. The BIM status view has updated to show the changes in the latest import. We can see that most members are not modified. Notice that the slab has not been updated. And we can see the new beam that was created in Revit color-coded accordingly, as well as the two beams that were modified, one with its length and one with its section size. Notice the red beam that was deleted in Revit but maintained upon import. We can now choose to keep or delete this member. The analytical wires are all still connected. The hanging column is still connected to the supporting beam above, and also the joists are still directly sitting on the roof girders. Now we can continue working on this model here in Tekla Structural Designer. So we'll just add some braced frames to this bay. And then we'll also add some channels to the cantilever framing on the second floor. And we'll send this back to Revit a third and final time. The process here is the same, and we can simply click through the integration wizard to create our export file. Now back in Revit, we can bring in the final import file. We'll run through the defaults to complete the integration. Once done, you can see that the braces have come through. Also, the hanger column is still correctly showing the geometry below the beam and the analytical wire connected above. Similar to what we saw in Tekla Structural Designer, we can open an integration status window in Revit. Again, refer to the advisory notes on how to set up this view. And here we can see what's been changed, what's been unchanged, and anything that's new. That brings us to the end of this brief video introducing the integration between Tekla Structural Designer and Revit.